Nikos, really? I don't know if there'd be some personalities.
There'd be some arguments between the Nikos,
Yeah.
I think.
It's like,
Yeah.
shut up, Nico! Everyone goes quiet, then no one speaks anymore. They're like, just let Nico call. Yeah.
Unfortunate. Anyway, it looks like we're getting back underway, and the pistol round's going to be getting underway as well. It's going to be a fast speed play coming in from LDLC, and already JNT is taking the head off of Kios. Unfortunately, there's a lot of shots being missed by Luca, though, and Maka will take advantage of it, taking 2 with a quick trade. No gun for that player on the site. Might not matter. Luzin will get headshot as well by Maka, and it's a quick fire 3K for him. And that will get LDLC off to the perfect start on the T side. That was a bit wild, but in the end, Young Shark's a little bit overwhelmed.
Yeah, I think it was Maka that got away with a lot. Did he get dinked, I'm pretty sure, by a USP even somehow? I'm not too sure how that went down. But either way, coming out with a very nice 3K for himself. Early success straight onto the AK as well. On a map like Dust2, you do want those long-ranged weapons, and well, we're seeing the aggression into lower. I do believe it was spotted by the player at top mid, but it seemed like they were still caught just a little bit off guard, which allows for at least 1 kill to come in there for JNT, but it's not really going to be enough. Sixer's still hanging on 22 health there with his Mac 10. You can see the smoke should be going down to cover off the door to allow for the B-bomb site to be completely taken. But the numbers no longer favor LDLC. It's actually a 3-on-3, so it's equal in that regard. But as you said while we were waiting for the game to actually kick off, retaking B is not an easy task. And even with that little bit of damage that's done on Sixer, I'm not sure if they're quite fully aware of it. So it looks like they're happy enough to just kind of concede the round, be happy enough rather with the 2 kills they've gotten, and give themselves a chance to do something very similar in this next round.
Yeah, usually the way it goes. Try and save on the CT side to get yourself another bite at the cherry for that next round, of course. But yeah, it's actually quite a significant shame for Sharks there, because Luca was so good on map 2 of Mirage that it's a shame that it's him to whiff right on the MP9 from lower, because if he gets that kill, there's so much damage that was done as well to Sixer defending top of mid. I feel like then you would have what, a 4 versus 3 perhaps, maybe a 4 versus 2, and of course the frags would then come in on that B hold, but it would give them probably the inkling to go for it rather than save in the 3 versus 3. So as it is, LDLC will take their 2-0. They have a chance now with a bonus round coming in. Kios and Lambert will stick on the Mac 10s and they'll try and get something done. Of course, Pank has got that recovered Mac 10 on the CT side, so they got something to work with here, to be fair. With Scout on Zevi, of course. That looked like it was on, as you say, but Counter-Strike is a cruel mistress sometimes.
Yeah, that one was a little bit unfortunate. That would have been really helpful damage this early on in the round as well, especially with the pistols and a Mac 10 in play. It actually ends up being Zevi instead who gets tagged up initially. He's going to be brought down to 66 there with a little bit of a spam from the AK, a re-peek from Sixer. And, well, he's actually quite fortunate to even be alive now, left on 2 health. We'll see whether that scout gets a chance to do anything at all at this stage. But good control from LDLC. They've got themselves out on long. I'm kind of surprised Sixer's gone as aggressive as he is. It's probably not really necessary here, especially with a bit of an A stack in place. They've got a couple players back in on mid as well, and they've got a ton of time really to make the decision about what they actually want to do. So they're moving in towards short now. It looks like they're just going to go for the split, but again, they're walking into a bit of a stack. They're actually getting picked apart. Zevi and Luca have got 1 each. Again, the 2 standout players on Sharks for us for sure. Zevi falls as Real is left on 4 health as well. It looks like the weapons should eventually start to reign supreme here for LDLC. But it's not been an easy round at all, and JNT has still got a little bit of a shot here.
Yeah, I mean, 1 headshot I think is enough to take both these 2 players down. Of course, a 5-7 at that range is not easy at all, but it took LSE a while to get the bomb across the mid position as well. Across the cross anyway. If that makes any sense at all, to actually get it planted. And he's going to go toward long. I'm not sure if this will be telegraphed. There might be a gun down. There is. But is it the gun he wants to try and make something happen in this situation? He's already been spotted out, and that's a very hard one. Can only get 1 little tag off to Haji. And LDLC just recover it. That was at a 3v5, it was, right? They just managed to pull back there. The grenade towards CT as well. Very good indeed to stop that low HP player that they did so much damage to earlier on. And as it is, Young Sharks now have a chance to get their full buy going. They got Zevi on the AWP. Can they get started on this CT side? Will they be prepared? We've got a double AWP actually for Luca going for that secondary. It was JNT to go for the secondary on Inferno. Perhaps they've got set roles for who goes secondary on what map.
Yeah, well, I don't mind seeing a as we're getting now, Luca and Zevi have again both been the standout individual fraggers for us. So I want to see what Luca's going to get done now on this op as well. Boosting on short initially, very heavy A presence in general because they had the two kind of focused towards long there as well. Not quite pushed up though, of course, as we see, because LDLC do have the full control. Ton of time as well, obviously, off the back of it to actually make something happen. But they've got all 5 players in on long, which is an interesting choice. They've got no presence elsewhere. In theory, there could be a flank even coming through. And you can see already that they're having to watch for that a little bit as they start pushing forward. They're pretty much fully committed to this A bomb site, so I'm wondering how quick these rotates start to come in. Kios catches Reels in, trying to creep through that smoke rather, hoping to make his way onto the bomb site. It doesn't work out too well, but they've still got 2 players on the bomb site itself. And Luca from the spawn is able to find 2 pushing through the smoke. He doesn't quite land that 3rd shot though. It was a tiny bit off. And Haji starts to pop heads as well. Now suddenly it's all on Pank, but the damage, it gives him a chance to maybe still get something done here. Tucks into Gandalf for that reload, and he's hoping to find a bit of magic.
It's still possible. I mean, Haji's only 10 HP, but he's getting spammed down so much, and he just can't swing cleanly. Unfortunate in the end for Pang. I really felt like that was possible with the health remaining, but not to be. And again, that's maybe a little bit of a gulf in class there, right? Because you got the AWPs in the action. You got a player in the smoke. Kios finds him immediately. The AWPs are here and they're ready to go, but just Haji and Kios is catching these players on the angle. That was a quick fire headshot towards Zevi, I believe. They just caught him off trying to go for that peak. And in the end, not to be for them on that first buy round. And LDLC are starting to build up their economy now as well. They'll be looking to try and survive with at least 4 players alive in this one. Lots of pistols towards long for Sharks to try and face. But they'll just try and fall back with that smoke down. And at least try and stack some crossfires somewhere in a position to get a few guns, perhaps.
Smoke down to the jump on Xbox, yeah. Very elaborate for the smoke that it is. Nice little lineup though. We got a nice view of it as well. Shout out the Observer. Forgetting his name now, apologies. I remember seeing it pop up at the start of the maps as well.
J something?
We'll make sure to point it out next time.
Yeah, we will. I promise.
Those lines, I believe.
Yeah.
But an aid damage, that wasn't too bad. That helps with these pistols that they've got in play. Still not expecting too much though. Sharks are going to be really focusing on getting their way back into this now on the next gun round, and well, that's going to be really when they need to. Otherwise, it's going to be getting a little bit too out of hand, I've got to say, especially with LDLC here being on the T side. They really are so far putting a really strong showing, and have kind of just completely reset themselves, I suppose, after what we've seen back on Mirage, which is not always easy to do. JNT not able to get it done there with the 5-7 in on mid. Unfortunately, he did have a strong close range angle, but as they move on to B, it is pretty much just easy access there. A couple of headshots being found off the back of those AKs, and well, now again, you've got some pistols, a bit of Kevlar as well that potentially for Pank could be worth saving, but I think for Reelzin and Zevi, not really. They may as well try and get a couple exits here and at least make it expensive, because the money hasn't got nearly as out of hand as the rounds have.
Yeah, for sure. Right now, it's just important really for Pank to save his armor, I would say, in this sort of round. And as I said, LDLC are looking to try and build up their economy. Looks like they will survive with 5 players alive as well, so it's great for them. As you say, that angle that JNT had with the 5-7 was just about in range for a one-hit headshot. So if he hit that headshot, may have given himself a chance to do more. If it would have been likely, he would have been traded immediately, but still. And now we're seeing sort of LDLC's T-side on Dust2, despite the fact that, you know, they haven't looked at top form so far today. Taking their map pick, sure. Sharks taking theirs, fine. But it was a bit of a mess on Mirage for them in various situations as well, especially when Sharks won their force buys, right? That was the particular rounds that looked very messy for LDLC. But they've stabilized now. And now we get to see what they can do with this boost. Of course, this is what you have to resort to now with the suicide area being blocked off, just boosting on top of a teammate's head. That is the way to go for that mid pick like you used to. And of course, it sacrifices another player's attention to help boost up your teammate. And once again, Sharks are on a double AWP setup. The double AWPs are probably the best thing you could go to on Dust2. Here's a long-range map, of course. Tank towards CT. Looks like he might be pounced on in a second or two. He's falling back off the angle. That might be heard by Lambert, actually.
Not too sure if it was. It looks like, at least for now, Sharks are staying pretty cautious of mid, which is the right idea. as you can see with a lot of the focus being around here, but they are still pressuring short in the meantime as well, a little bit on towards B. I think maybe indicating that it could be the B hit, and that definitely seems to be what Sharks are reading from it, with Pank sticking around in mid. A fantastic catch onto Maka, and somehow manages to also stay alive there despite the swing that came in to follow it up. And, well, really doesn't even take too much damage. He gets away with it. They're going to have Lucas snatch up the 1 kill onto the man who lurks out B, and, well, that was just a bit too early of a move there from Hadji, unfortunately. The bomb was moving back around through tunnels. Now they've got to try and crack their way through the defense in a 3-on-5. The jump peek to try and bait out the shot. It's not working. Lucas so patient on the trigger. Eventually, he'll rattle one off. He lands on Kios, a leg, I believe, then found on Sixer as well, through the corner of the wall. So it doesn't do a ton of damage, but it's just a warning shot to let him know to not try it again. And it doesn't look like they're going to get too much hope here. Lambert at least gifted 1. They still have to deal with the 2 players on the bomb site itself, and they've only got 11 seconds to do it. With that flank of Zevi, they have no hope at all. Reels in also in from behind. That's Sharks welcoming themselves to the scoreboard, rather, in very convincing fashion. That's what you need when you pick up your first gun round.
Absolutely, that was very good from Sharks. They had every sort of angle covered off there. I really liked the play from Luca as well toward the back of the site, just sitting there the entire round. It's fine. Like, they didn't have a flashbang for it. All they had to do was try and strafe behind the, strafe behind and in front of the wall to try and get him to shoot and put him off from that angle. But in the end, he was too calm, too collected on that secondary AWP, and worked out very nicely for them on that first buy round. Gets them off the board, as you say, and it's always the first that can be the hardest to get. Nice flash will get Kios off of that angle. And now Luca can peek himself. There is a flash to respond, though. He's going for more, though. Luca's a madman so far. He'll get himself a second as well. Kios just walking into the scope, trying to get the trade. The AWP's too strong for that, my friend. And now, 5 vs 3 for Sharks. LDLC make that a 5 vs 2. As Pank takes the head off of Sixers. He creeps towards short. Again, a little bit split up, LDLC. This is what they were falling foul of on Mirage. You don't want to fall back into old habits right now, because that was one of the main reasons they had a struggle on that T side. 2 vs 5 should be a Sharks victory.
Yeah, it's LDLC in deep water in this round. Although, overall, still with 5 on the T side so far. It's similar to what we had for Sharks back on Mirage, where they've still at least got a decent foundation, despite a couple of gun rounds now getting going for their opposition. But it does look like, again, this is going to be a pretty convincing one with only a single casualty, as we had seen in the previous. Hadji, unsurprisingly, not really looking to make this one happen anymore. He's back in the spawn now, saving that AK, so we're going to have a little bit of a quieter one. Podcast mode engaged, I suppose, since no Hunt's going to be coming in either. Just time for a bit of a chat on this one, Travis.
It's a correct call, right? Because, I mean, he's got 3.4 in the bank. He's even got a Molotov as well, so he could drop over one more AK. And I would probably assume that it'll be Lambert, or not Lambert because he's the IGL, but probably Kios to take that with 1k left. And I'd be curious to see if they go full aggression on it. They might want to try and get 2 hero AKs and go for a fast play somewhere and see what they can do. But yeah, it's going to be a tough one because they can only really afford 3 rifles in total.
Yeah, I mean, I'd kind of like to see them just take the eco, to be honest. They've still got a 5-2 lead. You have an AK on Hadji that can be put to use. On Sixer, maybe you buy a pistol. Perhaps Kios buys a P250 or something along those lines, and they have a chance then to just get a few kills. 2 of them even wouldn't be a terrible result. A little bit more than what they were able to get in those last couple of rounds at least. And just, again, force that reinvestment. They could actually leave them in an opportunity where winning that next gun round could still break the economy of Sharks on at least a few of the players. So I think that's the decision I'd like to see. But I could definitely understand if the buy was to be pulled out as well, as you said, with the ability for a few rifles to be in play. But it looks like they're taking the safer approach. They're getting a bit of utility behind it. They're not even going in on the pistols, really. They're happy enough to just see what Hadji can get done with that AK. And I mean, he's currently sitting 7-2 in fairness, and is one of those players that you look towards on LDLC for the frags. So I don't think Sharks should be feeling too secure about this round at the moment, to be honest. There's still something that can be done.
Yeah. I mean, I like the call, as you say. Quite often, if you can get 3 rifles, you do tend to commit to the buy, as you have majority players on rifles. But Sixer would have had no util at all, maybe 1 flash. So it's that sort of situation where it's not necessarily worth it. smoke coming in for JNT to try and protect himself. They are going to be going into a fast B play by the looks of it, or at least a pop in toward the B site. In comes the grenades that they do have left over. JNT's going to be burning, actually. He's burning a lot. He has to swing at some point. He just swings into the open. Pank is thankfully there to help him out, but surely he'll get taken down. He is. Kios takes him, and Kios takes the head off of Luca as well. And he even spams down Pank. Oh no. Young Sharks, my friends. What has gone on here? It should be a fallback and a save as well. You can't retake with an AWP. Oh dear. That was, in the end, too much damage from that Molotov. And that was a Molotov saved over from Hadji as well. So it's not just the gun that did the work. In fact, it's not the gun that did the work. It's the Molotov, really, that was the MVP in that one.
Yeah, damn. I mean, when in doubt, just hit B, right? That's the Dust2 motto. On those weaker buys especially, it makes it, obviously it's hard to get into the bomb site itself, but once you find it, it's so much easier to lock down those couple of choke points in towards the door and window, as you see, and things can just spiral very quickly out of control. And that's exactly what's happened for Sharks. They've still got some money there, thankfully, so they're able to get the buy back pretty easily. Even if they weren't to save the 2 weapons, they likely would have still had it. But it's a 6th round over to LDLC, and I mean, for Sharks right there, ideally they wanted to keep LDLC on 5 for a while. You do expect them to head up towards 8 or 9, ideally, at least here on their T side. Maybe less nowadays. That would have been in the past, but for me anyway, right? I feel like LDLC are still a little bit T-sided here. But yeah, as you said, they still got the buy-in. They've got the double up again. They're going to continue rocking it on Luca. JNT's been a bit quieter here, so I'm wondering if maybe the up in his hands could be a good idea. Luca's been pretty solid on rifles as well, but happy enough to continue their setup as it's been, I suppose, working at points so far.
Yeah, to be fair, Luca on the secondary in this map so far has been pretty solid, so I can understand why they want to keep it that way. But yeah, in the end, that was mostly, I said, it was the Molotov from Hadji, and it was Kios as well, getting those 3 kills. I think it's the second shot that was the most important one, catching that player falling back toward window, and yeah, it was unfortunate in the end. It's just a shame that Young Sharks will lose a round like that. That maybe doesn't see the half play out as they would have wanted. By now, they would have probably understood losing the first few rounds. But as it is, it's going to be another nice pick. And that's what I mentioned, right, earlier, only a couple of minutes ago. You can't just hold mid anymore with how they've changed Suicide. They now have to boost on top of a teammate's head. And this time it will work out for Maka for an opening pick as well. That is Zevi to go down. And it feels like the duels toward middle are so much more common than they used to be. At least a CT facing it more than the T facing it now. It's been changed like that. But I don't think he'll be doing that too much now for the rest of the half. Lucas stuck toward Car as well. Realizing actually goes aggressive though and somehow manages to tap down Kios in pit. That is a really nice shot. And then they go back in with a flashbang. Surely the trade comes in quickly, and it does. They've got the bomb toward long now. Even though Lambert's taken the site alongside Maka, with the bomb in the CT's possession, you can do something about this now.
That's a bit of an issue, though. He is, as you said, on the bomb. Both of them now moving in. And with a solid position, I was going to say, with JNT and anti-flash likely in behind Blue, did get caught by a flash, but it didn't matter because LDLC weren't actually ready to immediately follow up off the back of it. If they had have moved quickly, they had the player tucked in up close who would have been stuck. But instead, a bit of time was given for the recovery to be found, and with that, both players then just posted up on the corner. 2 kills coming through. Sharks are able to jump back to life there off the back of a round that they didn't really have too much right winning. And now instead it's LDLC who are going to be expending all of their money in order to get the buy here. If they lose this one, Sharks are going to have a chance to start taking a few rounds in a row. Maybe even start tying things up at potentially 6-6 if the next gun round goes their way. And that's a very nice shot by Luca. As you said, he's been getting a lot done on that secondary op. Zevi's been pretty quiet here, to be honest. And that's surprising after what we've seen from him on the first 2 maps. But he's still got time to step it up. Reels in. Needs to be careful of that player in the smoke.
This is a bit scary. Zevi sort of got the angle, but now he'll fall back off of it. That could be the wrong time to fall back off of it. And there we go again. Zevi missing a shot. Unfortunate for Team Sharks. Can they get away with it now? Pank will manage to grab that AWP and fall back towards CT, but surely that's the 2 opening picks. It'll be enough for LDLC. Once again, Young Sharks just fall by the wayside a little bit in that situation. They had a decent setup. The run boost will come in, but they give up on it. Oh, Hadji saw his life flash before his eyes there. This is a bit of a fail, but will it matter? Pank will still get one towards CT, but Luke has been tagged as well. So the bomb will go down despite losing that pick, and it's probably enough to warrant a save here for Young Sharks, especially with 2 AWPs. But What do they decide to do? They're up close. The smoke will allow them to advance a bit further. And with JNT towards short, looking to try and distract, there's a chance they can go in for a jump shot. But with Kios toward car, it makes it a very tough position to do anything about. So much grenade work coming in toward Hadji. Actually puts him down to 21 HP. But now they're finally calling it off, and you can understand why. Oh, that's another one that shouldn't have been lost for Sharks, it has to be said.
This is a rough one. Just the back and forth constantly for Sharks, obviously, on the CT side isn't ideal. Doesn't really go their way. With at least 3 weapons being saved, it works out this time because they can drop over and ensure everything's still there. But if they were to lose this round, then things would start to get a bit dicey, and LDLC would, at this stage, then maybe even be heading towards double digits on the T side, which Sharks do not want to let happen. Overall, though, there's been a bit of a recovery from them, obviously, on the CT side. Things had started off with LDLC going up, I believe it was 4-0 initially even. We're seeing the pause from
I think they got to
LDLC.
5 as well.
5, was it even?
Yeah. Good time for timeout, to be fair, for LDLC. I mean, they've only got 2 remaining. They've used 2 in the first half already. But, you know,
well,
it makes Sharks think, doesn't it? Yeah, exactly. Don't necessarily have to use timeouts for your own gain. You can use them to make your other teammate. Of course, don't forget that when you use a timeout, the other team have a timeout as well, technically. But at the same time, it also makes them think that round through and think what's gone wrong. Hopefully that will relax them a little bit. Who knows how it will play out in their minds. But still, 7-3. At least they do have another buy still. I mean, they've done good work in surviving with a good amount of players alive, right? And saving in the previous few rounds. So at least they can keep buying and keep putting the pressure on LDLC. And Luca's possibly looking to want to go aggressive with the AWP. He's got the tight angle, X-ray toggled on and off, as you can see. It's quite a hard angle to find. Maka's staring at it right now. In fact, they've got Kios here to help out as well. Multiple come in and will have to force him away. He does take a tag to it, so it might be heard. But he's going to continue to play behind it. That could be the way to go. He'll be stuck in the right-hand cubby if he does go into this position. But that's a nice first shot. He can barely see anything, and he still managed to take Kios down. But the burst is going to come in, and Hadji will take him down. Sixer takes JNT, and once again, it's going to be a rough one for Sharks and LDLC to sort out. Sharks will just about get away with it and save once again, but it's LDLC's round.
Yeah, despite, as we see in that strong opening initially from Luca, just wasn't able to really spot what was going on with the cloud of smoke from the nade. And yeah, by the time he followed up with that second shot, there was multiple players in his face. Just solid second entry then as well, immediately found towards the door player. And there wasn't a lot of hope. LDLC again win it out by just taking a couple of kills and confirming the control of the bomb site. They were very, very swift in these last couple of rounds with the entries. I mean, this time as well, I don't know if the buy is going to be quite there, actually, for Sharks. They're starting to build up the lots bonus, obviously. There's only 2,400 that comes in, so no one's able to drop over. They might have to even take the eco, give 9 to LDLC, and then hope to fight back towards 6. Although with 3 weapons, obviously, they'll still have a pretty good shot in this round. I would prefer if they didn't really force up around it. Realzin spent a decent amount, though, and it looks like everyone else is willing to buy. So, yeah, they're going to make it work as best as possible. Luca just about gets an M4. I don't blame them as the score's getting quite out of hand, but you want to see them with everything. You don't want any weaknesses in these buys since they're already struggling.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, even with Luca's buy, right? It's quite plainly got no utility already. This is going to be an interesting one, though. Gentle's already won his duel toward the B site as they go rushing into that position, but Lambert's doing so much work with Maka's help in mid. Luca will finally try and answer back, but he only gets the one. And even though Sharks had a decent start to that one, with them getting an opening pick on the player just running through the Molotov, of course, that was Hadji. That was JNT getting that first one. It's not really looking too good. The lurk into a middle, or at least the rush into a middle from Lambert was enough for the damage to get one and activate Maka to do more. And now Reel's in, stuck on the A site, doesn't really know if that long's going to be taken, doesn't know if short's going to be taken. LDLC just playing the time down right now, waiting for a mistake from Sharks, looking for information. They need to push in just yet with a whole minute to play. finally, Sixer will join up now with Maka with the bomb on his back as they make their way towards short.
This is insane. I mean, the rounds in general, the early exchanges are so quick from LDLC. They're always rushing to get into the action, and it seems like they're somewhat thriving in the chaos at the moment. Realzen going to be left to defend this A bomb site. It looks like there's a player actually in the pit as well that might be able to just about spot him around this smoke. We'll see. Sixer taking the initial attention. He spots that the player's down on long as well now, and as the smoke begins to fade, he's really got to start worrying about it. Can't get in on the bomb site. Eventually, Chaos taps his head away. JNT is left alone. He's picked up an op as well that is probably going to be saved. Yeah, there's plenty of time there for the plant to come in. Wasn't too sure. Looked up at the radar and seen he was thankfully on the bomb site. I was like, there's only a few seconds left there, guys.
It was pretty close in the end. I mean, Realzen basically there, right? I feel bad for him a lot because he's done literally everything he can do in that situation. He's wasted the clock down. He's tried to at least take a couple of frags. He's just being pinched from long and short. And even though Kios is such low HP, it's impossible to get away from that, even with a flash and a smoke down. That smoke was fading. He had to make a choice. In the end, Kios just tapped him down. If possible, it would have been nice to if he could jump back onto the site and perhaps play around the first box. Would have perhaps had a chance to take down one player from short, and then they would have activated Kios to have to push. And considering he was so low, it may have got him a second, but yeah, not to be. And LDLC will reach 9. Sharks would have been, again, as I said, they'll look back on this half and say they probably could have won 2 or 3 more here. Could have been a much more even game. But now, the best they can hope for is 6.
Yeah, which definitely isn't ideal in the current meta of Dust2, how things have kind of switched up a bit with that mid change. 1 for 1, not the worst in the early exchange, but JNT took heavy damage. Zevi's now actually being locked out of B and is being tagged down to 23. This is not good. They've lost that B-bomb site once again, although the bomb itself is coming over with a player in between them, so that might make things a little bit more complicated, but JNT obviously wasn't aware of the fact that the bomb was still behind them in spawn. So he's going to go ahead and jump into B, giving away his life, and well, putting the 3-on-3 back in favor of the T side pretty firmly with the weapons favoring them. Zevi was a couple of seconds too late, unfortunately, to catch the peek there in towards tunnels. And as the repeat comes as well, he's just about blocked out by the pillar. I don't think Sixer spotted him, did he? Maybe he did, because he's going to drop the smoke either way and was pretty cautious about it.
I think he might have just spotted him. They're going to go aggressive on it, though. That could be a good idea. In with the flashbang, but Sixer's too aware. Cancels the bomb plant to help out his team. First headshot for him, but there's Zevi. Now he's in the action. Now it's basically all on Pang. That's a really good trade. And Kios will find him as well. And it will put LDLC to double digits. Again, another close round that Sharks could have had a say in. JNT getting 1 aggressively, then just peeks back into B with a bit of a jump peek that was a bit too wide. And Hanji took him down in the end. The up of Zevi, as you say, that was so tight to possibly taking Sixton. It would have been an opportunity for sure to get a scope down from the B tunnels toward the site to try and do some more work. But not to be. They could afford to go aggressive in that particular play in the previous round, as they know they have a bye in this one. Zevi once again on the AWP, but he's not really showed up as much as Luca has in this series so far. Or at least in this map so far. And with 12 possible for LDLC, if they take it, that's going to be almost impossible to come back from.
This little molly in towards the car. LDLC being pretty methodical, at least with their control over on long, but it's where they put all of their early presence. They'll very quickly start to abandon it, but not without Maka taking a kill first. Luca pushing in through mid, isn't actually watching for the push back around up to towards spawn, and you can't obviously see it anymore anyway that way, but he didn't push all the way forward to be able to actually catch that they were going back through the spawn itself. Instead, the hope is to cut off the rotation, but it means he'll have a much later warning. His teammates won't be able to have as long to get that rotation in, of course, before LDLC reach B, and well, he actually unfortunately gets caught out by the timing a little bit. If anything, I was going to say they look to bypass him, but no, he's already got the 2. Luca, a 3rd kill to come his way, drops the bomb, finding himself a hat-trick, and somehow flipping this round on its head now, leaving only Haji and Maka to try and somehow reverse the fate of LDLC, as it seems to just kind of crumble Maka doesn't have the bomb in his possession either, so we can't really do anything with this one. I think it's really just the op to be saved maybe for the last round. Although they have pretty good money, so it's not all that necessary, to be honest. With 12 seconds, I mean, there's no need to needlessly throw away an op, I suppose.
Yeah, that's true. Just save your KD at this stage. I mean, Maka's been pretty sick so far in this final map. I mean, Zevi's been caught off quite a lot by Maka, and we also will not expect Maka to be towards short, but that won't hurt them too much. As I said, last round of the half coming in, they're going to be able to buy fine. I think it might only be one slight fallback with perhaps an MP9 or so, but no, actually all the drops can come in, so all good. But yeah, that was a really nice opening pick from Maka, but in the end, Luca, that was, as you say, honestly quite fortunate to get the timing that he did toward lower tunnel to get the first. It was being sort of half checked for over and over, but in the end, getting the first was particularly impressive. The third was his best. So obviously he actually was spotted and had the duel straight up. That's where the M4A4 still looks pretty good, huh? Usually it would expect the A1S to be the M4 multi-fragging these days, but it's nice to see the M4 still being played. And now we go into the last round of the half, as you say, Dean, with a chance to make it 5, and it's the best case scenario for them, and probably an acceptable half in the end, considering how it's gone.
Yeah, I mean, LDLC are going to be really happy with the 10, maybe even 11 if they can find this last one. But yeah, Sharks need this 5th to feel like they've at least recovered things to a, as you said, acceptable position. We'll see whether it's going to come their way or not. Short control, a little bit of a run boost. No one peeking it now, so unfortunately nothing to come of it. But at least Kiaz enters with style. The smokes go down here.
KZ, at least, or KZ,
exactly.
depending where you're from.
I've done that in a while. My movement's a bit terrible because of it. Not gonna lie. Liking this, the aggression here from Pank coming in. It's a little bit unfortunate though, because I don't know if the full commitment's coming in, so this could be an awkward position rather once the smoke starts to fade, I was going to say. But with the drop quickly into the spawn, they realize that it's very likely a B split being set up. And so far, they're completely demolishing it. There's absolutely no entry being allowed for LDLC. They've only got 20 seconds remaining to get into this bomb site. And they're going to have to push through the smoke. The spam, before they even get any vision, decimates them as Luca finds himself 3. That's going to be a solid end to the half for Sharks as they get themselves 5. And hopefully that's lit a fire under them now to be able to pull things back in that second half. But we're going to have a bit of a break first, guys. Make sure you stick with us. We won't be long. Sounds good. I'll bring us back in.
Broken bones and a bloodstained flag. Open road and nomadic plans. I'm coming to get ya. I'm
We are back, and well, so were Sharks in those last few rounds, to be honest, as they started to find some form. Fantastic spray down there as well from Luca to hopefully fire him up and the rest of the team now coming into the second half. But Travis, they obviously need this second pistol round.
Absolutely, yeah, and it's great to see Luca the one firing. I mean, he has been the insane factor for Shark so far in this series to make this one close. I believe he ended that half with 18 kills, and when you get to above 15 in one half, it's always a good half. And we're going to see that right in front of our very eyes right now. 18 and 10 for Luca on that half. Very impressive indeed. It keeps him as the best performing player by far for Young Sharks in this game. And can they do anything now on their T side? I mentioned that as an explosive team, their playstyle is usually pretty explosive on the T side, going for these opening picks, making something happen as a group. Have to see if they can catch off LDLC in any way, shape or form. Maka's had a pretty good half alongside Haji and Kios, so they're going to be on form. They're going to be hard to deal with on that CT side, especially with the new Dust2, but let's see how it plays out.
Again, there's Execute ready in the B. It's going to be an interesting one. Kios is currently alone on the bomb site itself, but you should have Maka here pretty soon to help him out. Flash in from Pank actually ends up helping out Kios. If anything, unfortunately, he'll get himself a kill, at least to very quickly regain something for his team and make up for the team flash. But Kios is somehow still alive. I don't know how he was able to hang on for so long. Getting himself 2 kills in total and a bit of help from Sixer to get 1 as well, and at least leave the numbers equal for now. And as the bomb's being put down, of course, it's in favor of the CTs as they're preoccupied. Lambert actually finds both of them, and he was able to assist with a little bit of damage. He didn't get the kill for himself. LDLC, though, all they care about is that they find themselves that 11th round, and they deny, importantly, the pistol going Sharks' way. Now, as long as they take what should be an eco here, they'll have a 12-5 if the first gun round goes their way. At that point, then Sharks are going to have very little hope left. As you said, though, this is a double elimination bracket, so even if they do end up losing here, it's not the end of the road for them, but still, it's after the performance that they had back on Mirage, it's one where I think they'd be a little bit disappointed if they aren't able to get going here on Dust2.
Well, it could be a big lineup here for the rifles toward long, and look at that, the round's over before it even begun with what, 1 minute 40 left on the clock? Goodness me. That's what the rifles can do when the Glocks walk into them, and that's maybe a little bit of inexperience there from Young Sharks. I mean, in that situation, teams perhaps a little bit of a higher level would wait out that situation, make LDLC use their utility, and maybe give themselves a little bit more time to discuss the next round as well. But obviously they didn't get the bomb plant, so they just had to run in with the Glocks anyway, this time deciding to do that straight away. All right, they do have the AWP up on Zevi straight away as well for their first T gun round. It is a glass cannon, so they need to be a little bit careful of that. Utility dropped in CT as well for the LDLC guys later on in the round. Already Haji will go 1 for 1. Belzin will just about manage to rip his head off. We'll pick up some of that util and re-smoke and re-molly the mid position. Yeah, obviously it will be a bonus round considering they only just won the pistol, so and the anti-eco, so keeping the 2 MP9s over. But the MP9 is the best SMG in the game for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, SMG always a good option at the price, especially. Still, 2 of them not ideal. So when you are up against all of these rifles, it's basically the bonus round, but with only 1,400 to come in if they were to lose this round, it wouldn't allow for a perfect buy on everyone. So ideally, LDLC don't want to let this round go. It'd give a bit of a chance for Sharks to get the comeback rolling. Well, that's a good entry onto the bomb site, taking out Haji, getting rid of one of those M4s and giving plenty of space for this bomb to be planted. And as I had said, with the economy being a little bit limited onto most of the players, really, LDLC have decided that they don't really want to give this retake a go, I believe. Maybe, perhaps looking for upgrades. There's an AK for Sixer, that's pretty nice. I don't know if there's anything else that is retrievable, because as you can see, Zevi's watching that one on short.
Yeah, Maka went in to try and upgrade, as you say, and will manage to be found by Zevi. And it'll be interesting to see if he can get something going on the T side as well. It was a bit quiet on the CT side when he was AWPing. It was Luca to do all the damage on the AWP and the rifle, to be fair. But yeah, this is exactly what Sharks needed. They needed to win their first buy round instantly. And could do good damage as well. Of course, the save will come in, which means that LDLC, as you say, can afford a buy in this upcoming round. But keeps him in touch. LDLC have still double the score of Young Sharks. But whatever happens today, the Brazilian lads have really put, honestly, a pretty good face on either way, right? They went out the major 0-3. The only match that they really got close was against their compatriots of Pain Gaming. Of course, I believe there was a 16-14 loss to Tyloo, but that was just a best of one. So in this sort of situation, you could say, okay, we need to see improvement, right? Especially in EU against other EU teams. And LDLC aren't exactly the best EU team in the world, but they're at a decent enough level for Sharks to show what they can do. It's a bit of a scary one, by the way, though. They're going to be walking into some of these pistols. They need to win these duels pretty quickly. Will they expect a second player toward car? Six is being baited in with that AK, and there's the scout from Maka toward door. They haven't smoked off the door position. It's a nightmare for Sharks. They could be about to be caught off here. They need to recover it, but it's not going to happen. Pank's just trying to do the headshots, but you can't do it when you're getting peeked from two different angles. And Maka, with a second on the scout, will finish it off. And that's probably one of the first nails in the coffin.
Yeah. 13-6. I mean, that was the round that was needed for Sharks to really get things going, to break down that economy of LDLC. And unfortunately, they aren't able to crack it. Now they're short just about on everyone to make the buy happen, so they have to eco one, give the 14th over to LDLC, and then just have a flawless comeback on that T side. I mean, chances are not great for them, if I'm being honest here, Travis, but we'll see. Maybe the Eagles can get something done here. They can find a slightly earlier lifeline. I'm seeing aggression through tunnels here for the CTs. That should confirm there's not a lot going on around B. They don't really need to take too many risks, though, against these weaker weapons, but damn, okay. Pank gets that one all done on his own. It was a dink through the door on the first shot, and then a follow-up on the body. If they can find these players pushing through lower, if they manage to at least trade it, I was going to say, then perhaps things could start going their way. But Lambert happy to take one head and then just back off.
That was a really cheeky pick as well. That really sort of relaxes LDLC in this situation, because Maka could easily get overrun here. He does. Okay. He doesn't get the first, but Luca does it for him. Pank takes his head off, though, and it's a very nice reply. Unfortunately, they're going to have to make do with the bomb plant here. A good one from JNT, to be fair. It's what they would have hoped for in this round. It's their best case result. But LDLC will still win it out and survive with 3 alive as well. And yeah, that was unfortunate for Maka. I bet he thought he actually got one of those kills, but in the end, it was a deal response through the teammate, which obviously was a TK. It can happen. It can happen.
Yeah, Luca even things up. That's all it was. Zevi team killed him in the previous map, so
true.
Totally fair.
Good point.
As I said, revenge.
Yeah, inter-team revenge has to be taken sometimes, whether by accident or on purpose.
Karma finds its way.
Yeah.
We're getting the double up on the CT side here. It's an interesting adjustment. It's an expensive one, but when you're on the brink of taking over the finish line already, you may as well put everything in and give it a go. We're seeing things even slow down a bit here from Sharks, realizing how aggressive that previous gun round was from LDLC. And we're seeing the exact same setup with the aggression into lower, up into the tunnels. Then again, this time it's read incredibly well. As your Woo kind of alluded to, it was a nice little crisp shot that was landed on the kiosk. Pank then also made a pretty good choice to back away and not continue to challenge Lambert, so they're able to sit with this advantage with still 1 minute and 15 seconds.
Yeah, I do love a good woo sometimes, especially when Pank hits a shot like that. And he's up to 16 and 12 in this game. To be fair, it's just been the Pank and Luca show so far for Sharks. They need some of their teammates to join in and help them out. Milton only on 4, Zevi only on 7. This is a nice angle for Maka, but he might get caught off now. There's a bit of a gap in that smoke, though, and it's going to drop the bomb in that smoke too. Reels in, giving that one up. Haji just about catching him. It's a 4 versus 4, but they need to find a way to recover this bomb, and it's going to be tough. A boost will come in towards CT. Even more chance for Haji to do some work here. Should get peeked. He is, but he hits the headshot first. It's Luca, the raid boss of Sharks so far, to go down. And even a reboost to come in. They're so confident of LDLC right now. Jump shots coming in from Haji as well. And now it's all down to Pank and JNT. More jump shots in, but that will be a play that will come in easily from Haji. Now it's all down to Pank. Gets the first, but he's behind this smoke, and it should be hard for him to do anymore. Lambert takes him down. And that will be 15 for LDLC. 1 away from taking this first series on the B stream today in the EPL conference.
Yeah. Just about to take it over the finish line. I'm just having a quick check to see how the other game's going. I think they're already wrapped up there, I believe.
I believe so, yeah.
Gonna check if we've seen much of a fight from EC Bruges. 16-10 on the second map, so they were able to put up a bit more of a fight on Madline's map, which is an interesting one there for sure. But overall, I think Mad Lion's kind of taken that series as we would have expected going into it. We got the slightly more competitive one here, but it's been a case where it's just the teams initially taking their own map picks. I know LDLC looking like the stronger team coming into Dust2, they're also able to kind of capitalize on that advantage. I think it's just the way the veto went down. To be honest, I think if Sharks also took the gamble the same as LDLC did to not ban out Overpass and to maybe even come in with a pick of perhaps an Ancient. I mean, if they want to be crazy, I thought they would have removed Inferno anyway. Then I think we might have seen things ending differently here.
Oh, for sure. I think if Sharks tried to pick Ancient, I think they would have given themselves a chance, honestly, in the first map. But yeah, in the end, unfortunately, they're walking into an on-form Hadji in this final round, or in this final map, I should say, of the game. He's up to 21 and 10 at the moment after those 4 kills in the previous round. And now we're on the edge for LDLC. It's a nice opening pick for Zevi to at least take down his fellow Orpa in Maka, but they're going to try and respond with aggression in tow. Player close toward long doors. There's a play coming up towards short as well. Of course, it's holding the angle though, and a big run boost coming in. There's no way you're hitting that flick. That one's impossible to find, even if you're fastest man alive. Hadji though will push aggressively toward top mid and even find the bomb on JNT. It drops it. Kios pushes aggressively toward lower, finds Wheels in on the flank, and it recovers the man advantage immediately. Even going more aggressive is Hadji. Zebi finally puts a stop to him, but that's 2 more kills to add to the tally for Hadji. And the 6 are taking Zevi down. It's all down to Luca. He's towards short, trying to make something happen, but he's nowhere near the bomb. He has to take 3 players down and find the bomb at the same time. A swing will come in, and the timing is perfect from Kios. It's going to be a match victory in 2-1 fashion for LDLC. It was close,